Matter of fact, you ain't going to do it.
Open look, Boaz, he hits it!
What a play called by Tom Izzo in that timeout.
I was 7 years old watching a football game by myself, and I saw those winged helmets come out of the tunnel, and I was hooked at that point.
Kane in Chicago! Oh my God!
Kane with the overtime winner! Jahmyr Gibbs to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. You can't cover that man one-on-one. You just can't do it.
He drives, lobs to JD for a jam.
You play real good, you start. You don't play as good, you work your way back in. It's the American way, except America has gotten soft. But that is the American way. That's the way it works.
This is the 6'6" Kane Cunningham.
Jameson Williams, he's got it! Touchdown, Lions!
Now it's Larkin with a burst of speed. He scores! Gives the United States the lead for the first time tonight.
What do you think? Biggest comeback? Yes. Biggest choke job? Debatable, right? Welcome, everybody. Glad you're with us on a Tullymore Thursday. All is well here on X's and Bros. We're brought to you by Mitch Lyons Wealth. I'm Matt Shepard. Andy McDonald is alongside. Blown away. Absolutely blown away.
Can't believe it.
This is why oftentimes you can't give up on teams. You can't say it's over. We see it all the time in social media. People who overreact. I'm not saying when your team is down 29 and you can't close and you find a way to come back. I can't. If they were the Pistons, they were down 29 and they were down 20 in the fourth quarter. Yeah, I would say I would have a tendency to believe that it was over. What in that game at all last night in the NBA Finals, in case you missed it, 107-106, Knicks come from 29 points down, and they come from 20 points down in the fourth quarter to win it and now take a 3-1 series lead. Jalen Brunson had 36. OG Anunoby had 33. First Knicks duo to ever score 30 in the same playoff game. How this scars you if you're San Antonio, there's two ways to look at it. You can look at it like, hey, listen, we were able to build a 29-point lead on their floor. We can do this. Or do you tense up? Do you have little, no faith whatsoever? Maybe you can look at it both ways. You guys can do this, but you have to keep doing what you're doing. It's amazing to me how teams can go from building a big lead, playing a certain way and building a lead and continuing to play that way. But when it doesn't work out, the pushback is, what are you doing? Why are you shooting threes? Why wouldn't you just milk the clock? If you do that, and I'm not saying San Antonio had the right approach, because San Antonio scoring what they did in the first half, 76 points in the first half, and then falling down and scoring just 30 points in the second half, there's a problem, right? There's a disconnect. Victor Wembanyama went 9 of 25. He was settling for threes. He took 8 triples. De'Aaron Fox, people complaining that he took 9 threes. He made 4 of them. How did they build the lead? They built the lead because Wembanyama was getting inside for the most part, grabbed 13 rebounds. San Antonio was penetrating for the most part, and then suddenly they're settling. They shot 43 threes. New York shot 32 triples. The reason they had to shoot was because they were down so much. Simply amazing. But the reason San Antonio was, do you think they were settling in the second half? They made some stupid plays. There's no question about that. Charles Barkley went off on them, and it was great theater. They turned it over 11 times. It's when you turn it over. It's how you turn it over. It's the one-on-one basketball that they were doing. But was that New York staging a comeback? This is the debate. Or was that San Antonio choking it away? That's what I think a lot of people are going to be talking about today, and rightfully so. How do we determine, a choke job? Is it Rory McIlroy having a 4-shot lead at the Masters in 2002 or 2011 rather? Is it the Stanley Cup Finals in 2010 where Boston's up 3-0 in Game 7 and the Flyers come back to win it? What do we use as a determining factor when a player or a team can't get the job done? The Red Wings are up 3-0 in the Stanley Cup Finals in 1942 and yet lost. How does that happen? Is that a choke job? Sure seems like it. The 1986 World Series, Boston Red Sox, Bill Buckner, choke job. Choked by a team, choked by a player. Now, every time I think of this, I think of Jean Van de Velde, 1999, the Open Championship. 3-shot lead going into the final hole. He's up 3 shots going into the final hole. All he needed to do is double bogey. A double bogey 6, and he would have been fine. Instead, he tripled and lost. That to me was a choke job.
That's insane, yeah.
Because of poor decision making. Like, what are you doing? I just don't get why you're making these certain decisions. And I felt that to a certain extent during the San Antonio game last night. I'm like, man, you guys are like the decisions made by Victor Wembanyama last night. Some of those decisions, absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, answer me this: if you're a coach, what are you doing there? Are you pulling him aside? You're sure as hell ain't benching him.
Yeah, you're not going to bench him.
Right.
No
So
way.
are you pulling him aside? Are you telling your guys to settle down? What's the difference, Andy, between that and saying we're playing not to lose? You've heard that phrase, right? It's a cliche.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's a difference between playing to win and playing not to lose.
Yeah.
The convenient thought would be San Antonio played not to lose last night in the second half. You're taking a bunch of threes? Is that playing not to lose? Some people may call it settling.
Yeah.
You're settling for certain shots. But is it playing not to lose? See, to me, playing not to lose is I'm going to milk the shot clock as long as I possibly can.
Every single possession.
Yeah, right. Right. So which is it? Because we've seen this plenty. I mean, I think most of us, maybe it's unfair, most of us label choke jobs as individual situations. Greg Norman, Masters, 1996. You're familiar with it, I'm sure. He was playing as well as anybody, all right? He shot an opening round 63 at Augusta. He led through the first 3 days of the tournament. And then he lost a 6-stroke lead in the final round and ended up losing to Nick Faldo by 5 strokes. He had 3 straight bogeys on holes 9, 10, and 11. Then he double bogeyed 12. Okay? It was painful to watch, quite honestly. So maybe it's individual sports where we look at choke jobs. Like when Chris Webber called a timeout, let me ask you this. 1993, NCAA championship, North Carolina, timeout up the right sideline, even though in the huddle, I believe it was Demetrius Caleb, maybe it was Jalen Rose. We don't have any timeouts. He calls a timeout. Is that a choke job? Or is that a player not remembering the situation?
I mean, yeah, probably more that. I don't really know if you call it a choke job. I don't think that'd be the. I don't think he choked. He didn't even do anything in the field of play. He just kind of made a mistake with how many timeouts they had. Okay. More just his mind got. I don't know how you would name that one.
How about Houston? How about this one? Houston Oilers, 1993 AFC Championship game against the Buffalo Bills. Houston's up 35-3 in Buffalo, and they end up losing the game.
Yeah, that feels like a choke job to me.
That was in the third quarter, I might add.
I mean, yeah, it's
35-3 in the third quarter. You got a half to play. That's it. And Frank Reich, of all people, not Jim Kelly, Frank Reich, the former Lions quarterbacks coach. He's the one who engineered that comeback. Get your thoughts on it. Was it a choke job, or was it playing not to lose, or was it just the Knicks just being better? Our phone number on the Meyer hotline, 866-838-4843. Text line Sports Radio 21,000. You can join us in the chat as well. Always welcome that as we stream live on YouTube, X, and on Facebook.
Huge here for my good friend Josh Garvey and the team at Dorn Mayhew, West Michigan, one of the world's top accounting, CPA, and business firms. Their worldwide headquarters are in Troy, Michigan, on the east side of the state. And Josh and his team connect with all the sports fans and businesses across Michigan. They bring you John Beeline on the Huge Show. They bring you Lomas Brown during the Lion season. They are a top shelf team when it comes to growth and understanding what their clients need. And mix in when we do the Beat Huge contests or the NCAA March Madness brackets. Thank you, Josh Garvey, for what you do for the Huge Show and the Michigan Sports Network. Simple and easy. Just find Dorn Mayhew on all the social networks or just Google Dorn Mayhew and find out how they can help your business. And again, a special thanks to Josh Garvey and the Dorn Mayhew team in West Michigan.
You know, we're fortunate here in Michigan. We have some of the greatest golf courses in the country. Tullymore and St. Ives is part of the reason we can brag the way we do about our golf. Once you visit Tullymore, you'll keep coming back. The view is breathtaking. The golf is fantastic. The accommodations are regal, and the people are special. It really does feel like a home away from home at Tullymore. Make your play and stay reservations today by going to tullymoregolf.com or by calling 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837.
What's up, Michigan? You're listening to Shep. Don't forget the Huge Show later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
18 after the hour. Welcome back. X's and Bros throughout the great state of Michigan. Honored to be with you. You can join us in the chat if you're streaming us live on YouTube, on X, or on Facebook. You can call us on the Meyer hotline, 866-838-4843, or you can text us Sports Radio 21,000. There are lots of examples we have of quote unquote choke jobs. I hesitate to use that word sometimes, but it sure seemed like San Antonio was starting to, well, in baseball, they'd say grip the bat a little tighter than you should. Maybe in golf, you could say the same thing.
Right. I mean, I think with like the choke job thing, like it kind of just depends on how the game plays out, right? Like, yeah, it's all how it goes. Like, there's so many examples. I feel like in football, the team's coming back like that. I don't remember if you mentioned this in the first one, but the Falcons in the Super Bowl against the Patriots is the one that I think about a lot. And even what I was thinking is, I mean, if you were going to talk about that, the Lions lead they had in the 49ers at halftime of that game, like, was that a choke job in the second half? I feel like some people would label it as that, depending on what or how you look at it. I don't think it was that, because when you watch the game, a lot of things literally bounced the 49ers way, and it felt like that was what kind of undid the Lions in that one. But
I would tell you this. I don't know if there's one key point in that game last night, and I sure didn't mean to start our show talking so much about the Knicks and Spurs, being that neither is a Detroit team, but I do think it's interesting for sports fans. San Antonio basically gave it away. All right, we know this. The Knicks didn't take a lead until there was a minute 22 left to go in the fourth, so they clawed their way all the way back. But the Spurs were leading with 12 seconds left, 106 to 105. I forget who it is, but a Knick player penetrated the lane. The shot was altered. It was bothered by Victor Wembanyama. It was punched out. Do you remember this play? Streaking up the floor was De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox could have, again, his team is up 1. The clock is ticking down. There's 11.7 seconds left. All he had to do was dribble and turn around, almost like a U-turn with a car. That's all he had to do up the left wing. New York has to foul him. No doubt New York would foul him. De'Aaron Fox, you would hope, would make at least one of the free throws. But either way, I mean, who knows? Victor Wembanyama missed them both. Stephon Castle made them both. So you don't know. But bottom line is, he's up the left sideline, and he peels back. He's in a really good spot, and so are the Spurs. Instead, what does he do? He catches up to the loose ball that was punched forward, and he tries to go in and make a layup. Contested by OG Anunoby, who might be the MVP of this series, by the way. New York gets the ball back. Then they call timeout. They set things up, and Anunoby ends up tipping the missed Brunson shot in, because nobody was on the ball, which is fine, but nobody picked him up afterwards. This is the debate way back in the day. Maybe it continues to this day, but I used to have to field phone calls all the time about this. And that was, why isn't said coach John Beilein guarding the inbound? There's a lot of people who don't do that. San Antonio did it last night. Now, it didn't work out, but Anunoby inbounds, and then he runs toward the basket. How you don't pick him up? Who's not responsible for that guy? How do you miss this?
Yeah, it's a complete misassignment.
This isn't football. You're not 11 on 11. This is crazy, okay? It's not even lacrosse, where it's 6 on 6 on the half. 3 long pulls, 3 attack, 3 middies, 3 defensive middies. I mean, it's 5 on 5. You're responsible for one dude. Andy inbounds, fine. I'm not going to guard him, but eventually I've got to cover Andy. It was a missed assignment. It was glaring. And now most people would say this series is over. Think of this. San Antonio should be going back tied at 2 and probably be the favorite to win the championship.
Yep. All because of that. It's crazy.
And now this. And here's what a lot of people said last night. I mean, Charles Barkley was hilarious in the sense that this is the stupidest basketball team I've ever seen. And you wonder, what that might do with Mitch Johnson and his head coaching career, because not that he's going to get fired after taking a team to the finals, but people are going to point to this. People are going to look at this moving forward and say, what the hell were you doing? And where was the coaching?
It would hang over as long as it took him to win it, too, at this point.
What's that?
It'll hang over his head as long as it takes him to win it at this point.
Without question. Without a doubt. You had a chance here. Everyone's going to remember this. All right? And again, this is probably in line with some of the best or the deepest cut choke jobs you could ever imagine. You had mentioned Super Bowl in 2017. In case people had forgotten, Atlanta was up 28-3 on the Falcons, or on the Patriots, and the Patriots came back and won 34-28. Okay, Golden State Warriors. Remember this? Finals 2016. They're up 3-1 against Cleveland.
Yep.
Lost the series 4-3. That's a team viewed as a championship medal team. Am I wrong? You think of those,
for sure. Yeah.
Okay, you think of the Golden State Warriors in 2016. You think of Klay Thompson. You think of Steph Curry. You think of a lot of players who have won rings and know what it takes to win. And that was something that people mentioned last night. San Antonio's just not ready to win. Why not? Well, they're pretty young. Wait a minute. They got there. They beat the best team in basketball, quote unquote, to get there. They beat the defending champion. They beat that defending champion in their own barn. What do you mean they're too young? They're not ready to do this. Answer me this. How is New York any more prepared to do
it? I don't got an answer for you on that one. I mean,
which guy on the Knicks has been vying for a championship? Was it Karl Anthony Towns in Minnesota? Was it Jalen Brunson in Dallas? I mean, what type of deep experience do they have?
They don't have it. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't exist there. That's the same thing. That's why. I mean, I wouldn't call the series over yet either, just because of that fact. Who knows what could happen? But
what leads you to believe that it's not over? That's an interesting take.
As bad as that was last night, they did still have that big of a lead at one point. Like if maybe San Antonio puts a couple together and makes this a series again, I wouldn't be like shocked about it if that happens.
I think those are losses that scar you.
I mean, they probably lose the series, but I don't think it's like 100% over.
Okay. That's a unique take. I think. I think most people.
I'd be a fool to not pick the Knicks at this point. Like, obviously, I think they're going to win it. I don't know. You never know what's going to happen. I guess we just saw a 3-1 comeback earlier this playoffs. I mean, different series, but who knows?
Yeah, I would remind people too, when the example I use of the Golden State Warriors in 2016, that was the same team that set the NBA record and went 73-9. So, Andy, that's your rebuttal.
You right? Never know in these situations.
Yeah, your rebuttal is if Cleveland can do it against that team that so many people consider the greatest regular season team of all time at 73-9, right? Because today's athletes are bigger, stronger, faster. Those guys way back in the day could never do what these guys do, which is all bullcrap. If that's it, that's a slow and painful joke, right?
Right. Yeah. And I mean, it was basically LeBron and Kyrie that led that whole thing. I don't know if this Spurs team has the same, ability to be able to do that right now. But again,
Victor Wembanyama is a pretty unique player.
Yeah, for sure.
I love the stretch for quote unquote. I love big guys who are versatile, right? Everybody's looking for that. But he seemed to me to really settle for outside shots instead of going deep inside.
Everybody was loving it in the first half.
Yeah, they were loving it in the first half. You're right about that, We'll get to some of your texts. We've got some. Tiger's story last night, a disappointing one. Framber Valdez has been a massive disappointment. We'll get to all that and more coming up here on a Tullymore Thursday here on X's and Bros, brought to you by Mitchell Lyons Wealth.
Dad, here's 3 reasons why we should go to the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give.
Okay.
1, you can spend Father's Day weekend with some real golfers.
Ouch.
2, it's a good time for a good cause. Foodie fun, family fun, and fun helping feed neighbors in need.
And 3.
3, do you really need another reason?
Join the fun June 18th through 21st at the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Learn more and get tickets at MeyerLPGAClassic.com.
Rod Stewart returns to Soaring Eagle Thursday, September 3rd. The Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series with special guest Richard Marx. Tickets start at $71 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com. One last time, Rod Stewart with Richard Marx, September 3rd. SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
Back with you here on X's and Bros 35 after the hour. Glad you're with us on this Tullymore Thursday via text from our friend Freddie this morning. I just found out they lost right now. I turned it off while the Spurs were up 25. I just remember saying to myself, why was San Antonio shooting so fast into the shot clock? And why jumpers? Drive the lane. I guess Knicks fans got their money's worth. Biggest choke jobs locally. Tigers, August and September of last year. Boy, that's a good one. Tigers 2006 and 2012 World Series. I don't know. I mean, they made mistakes, especially the pitchers. The inability to field ground balls or bunts in 2006. How did they choke in 2012 when they lost 4 games to none? That's not a choke.
Yeah, they just got dominated.
They didn't play well.
Never felt close. Yeah,
that's not a choke.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it that either.
By the way, 2006. They lost, 4 games to 1 in that series. Choke to me, having something and losing it.
Yeah, you have to.
What is your definition? Give me your definition of what a choke is.
Well, that's what.
Don't give me an example. I want to know what the definition is.
No, that's exactly how I feel about it. Like, you have to have a lead in a game or a series or something like that. You have to have something that you can give away for it to be able to be a choke. Because that's where the word gets overused, is when people just say, "Oh, they choked because they were the better team and they lost to somebody else, that was not as good as them."
Yes.
To me,
so I think what happened for example, in 2006, Detroit finished second, if you recall. All right, but they beat the Yankees. I think that was 3 games to 1. They swept the A's. And then they had to wait. I don't know why 11 days sticks in my head. But anyway, they had to wait. And St. Louis was battling and all this other stuff, right? They end up losing 4 games to 1 in St. Louis. That is, to me, that's not a choke job. They didn't play well. There's no question. But I don't think it's because they were in the World Series. I just think they just weren't good.
No, last year to me with the Tigers, that example that Freddie brought up, that's more of a choke job to me, just because of how big of a game lead they had. It felt like they just didn't know how to play baseball all of a sudden, because they were making so many mistakes and just not. I think all of a sudden they just couldn't hit at all. And I mean, obviously we've seen some problems with that at times this year, so maybe that is just somewhat who they are at times. But you can't blow that big of a lead and not call it a choke job, in my opinion, that way, because it was just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's thinking Justin Verlander lost 2 games in the World Series. He lost game 1 to Anthony Flippin Reyes, 7-2, I think it was.
Yeah.
And he lost game 5 to Jeff Weaver, of all people. Kenny Rogers won the lone game for Detroit. That was game 2. And then St. Louis wins. I think they were close games, though. Maybe one was a blowout. Let me look that up real quick. They lost 5-0 in game 3, 5-4 in game 4, and 4-2 in game 5. To me, it's not a choke. Lions 2023 NFC Championship game, or just name a season 1958. I don't know about I don't remember 1958, but I would agree with you. 2023 NFC Championship game. Spurs should be up 3-1. Is what they say. Let me see here. Hold on a second.
I mean, that Lions NFC Championship game, that's still like one you think about sometimes when you're just like, wow, it was that close. And I feel like that's what makes that kind of a choke job to me. It's just everybody going into halftime was like, we're going to the Super Bowl. That's what it felt
exactly.
like, right?
I thought it.
Yeah, everybody
I did.
Yep.
I literally said it out loud. I'm like, I can't. This team's going to go to the Super Bowl.
No doubt.
I just never would have thought that.
It was 24-7, right?
This is a good point. Spurs should be up 3-1 because of Wemby's bad pass in game 1 at the end of the game. That's right. Remember, up the left sideline. Let me just, not that you can't come from being down double digits in any playoff game. If you're down 12 in the first quarter, the game isn't over, right? But I would tell you this. Supposedly, we view great teams as teams that know how to finish. They know how to put teams away. Game 1, Spurs were up 14, lost. Game 2, Spurs were up 12, lost. Game 4, Spurs were up 29 and lost. I mean, I don't know. Is that a team not knowing how to play? Play with a lead? I think they know how to play with a lead, but They lost themselves at some point during the game. Completely lost themselves. I didn't get to this. Twins beat the Tigers 6-4 to even their series. Let me ask you a question. When they first signed Framber Valdez, what were some of the immediate thoughts you had? For me, it was like they've just solidified themselves. Most everybody I talked to or listened to or read from, they have the best 1-2 punch in baseball. Tarek Skubal and Framber Valdez. Did you get the same sense?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. It felt like a good signing. I didn't think it was a bad signing.
So he started 14 games. He's 3-5 with a 4.5 ERA and a WHIP. Walks, hits, innings pitched, 1.3. It is the highest he has had since his second year in baseball when he was with the Houston Astros. 3-5, very disappointing. The big deal is that in baseball, as we all know, that can be very misleading, right? Troy Melton didn't pitch very well last time out, but took the L. Framber Valdez, I thought, would be a little bit more of an innings eater, and he has not been.
Yeah, that's been the main problem, I think. Even though he's had some starts that are all right and he gets through it, like he just hasn't been that guy that you're just going to get you 6-7 innings every time he goes out there.
Right. And instead, what he's giving you is primarily 5 innings. He's giving you 7 innings once. I mean, he's pitched into the 7th a couple of additional times. It's funny how we've lowered the bar, isn't it? Well, at least he's getting you to the 7th. My God, man. I mean, it's nauseating. It is. It's nauseating. Sports almost mirrors society these days. We're like, oh, that's great, Framber. Way to go. I'm so glad you got us into the 7th inning. Good job, buddy. Way to go. You're getting paid that kind of cash. I expect you to get through 7. Oh, Shep, I mean, the high expectations for you. I mean, it's getting a little ridiculous, don't you think? Really, is it? That's funny. Most people in any profession getting rewarded like he was and making, this year, what's he making? 18 million? Next year, he's going to make 23. Following season, he's going to make 42, then 35 and 40 because he's got player options. So it's a massive deal, but it's a little bit later on, right? This year, $18 million. I'm sorry, $23 million. This year, $23 million. $23 million this year, $43 million next year, 35 the following. Most people for that, like Javier Baez does that stuff for 25, you want him gone. Framber Valdez has not been what you signed him to be.
No, and the people that think that it's ridiculous to expect him to go 7 innings, I would ask, what do you think that he thinks of himself? Like, you think he expects to go that far in the game? I think he probably does. I think he thinks he's good enough to do that. So, yeah, I'm sure it's a reasonable expectation.
And if he doesn't, you don't want him on your baseball team. If you're having a conversation with him, this is a job interview, and you say, Framber, how long do you expect to go in games? 5 2/3, 6 innings.
There's no way you're paying him that money. I can tell you that much.
No.
He's giving you that answer.
Yeah. I don't know if people know this. He led the majors last year in complete games, tied for it. And it's only 2, but still. Now he gives you 7, and that's it. And then he's spent.
I mean, the track record was there, and you got AJ Hinch who used to coach him. I liked the signing altogether because it felt like that was just the second piece that they needed in that rotation consistently. And with Skubal being hurt, you kind of need to lean on him, and he just hasn't been that guy.
6-4 was the final last night. Valdez lasted 5 innings, allowed 4 runs, 6 hits, a couple of homers, including that 3-run bomb by Byron Buxton. Detroit left 10 on base. Series wrap up this afternoon. Cater Montero gets the call. Justin Verlander, by the way, made a rehab start, his second rehab start yesterday, down in AAA. He pitched 5 2/3 innings. He gave up 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 4 homers, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. It doesn't really matter. It's not like the Tigers are looking at Justin Verlander and saying, he's having a problem with his command. He's giving up a lot of gopher balls. Let's have him stay down there for a while. It's not Reese Olson. If he feels good enough, he's coming back. And he's going to pitch soon. And that's fine. I understand it. It kills me when people think, these rehab starts totally matter for deep veterans. It really doesn't. Other sports news. You've heard this already, but there are reports that indicate Steve Yzerman has gone back to Dylan Larkin's agent and asked him to expand their list of trade team targets. It's believed that more teams are calling, that maybe you incorporate a third team as part of a deal. Anaheim, Tampa, Utah, Islanders believed to be among those mentioned. When does this story get old? We've been talking about it for about a week now.
Yeah, I don't know.
When does it get old? No, the reason I ask is because the Tarek Skubal saga has really gone on for 2 years. It may not have been an everyday event, but it's gone on for a couple of years now.
Well, a lot of people want Steve to make this deal before the draft, right? Like they want that to be
that's
the thing. It's like exactly. And I think because of that, like that'll keep it alive. Is he going to make the move before then, or isn't he going to make the move before then? Who's it going to be? No one's really knows what either one of these guys are thinking. So I think it just keeps the drama alive. I mean,
yeah, most. Let's be honest, Andy. Give me a guy from Utah you want. Go.
No, I don't know. I mean, that's completely fair. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're trying to judge something that we don't know enough about. Sorry, it's plain and simple. You can scoff at it, but it's true. When people are saying, "Oh, if it's the Islanders involved, Matthew Barzal's got to be part of it." Yeah, had 72 points last year for the Islanders. Anybody else in that Islanders system that you can think? Yes, 2 thumbs up. Great move on the part of Steve Yzerman. No. You know what most people are talking about right now? He did it in Tampa and got Ryan Callahan back. And yeah, because you know who Ryan Callahan is. He waited out Martin St. Louis and did that. Later on, he told Jonathan Drouin, hey, man, you want to get traded? It's fine, but you're going to stay on this team until I get what I need and what I want. It's not what matters to you. I was talking with somebody I know yesterday who played in the NHL for a long time, and I said, what do you think will be done with Dylan Larkin and wearing the C? Let's just say he doesn't get traded. I know it's uncomfortable, isn't it? It's really uncomfortable.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
Oh, it's like husband and wife deciding they're going to get divorced but staying in the same house.
Yeah, your whole I think you were the one that gave like the skit of if they had the opening night thing with him still on the team. Like, can you imagine?
Yeah.
Oh,
what do you do there? His response to the whole what do you do about the captaincy was a great one, and I didn't think about this. You know what you do? You go to Dylan Larkin and you say, do you think you should wear the C? And make him decide. If he thinks he should still be wearing the C, I mean, if you're anybody, it's hard for professional athletes to follow somebody because they've been the leader their entire lives, for the most part. It's a broad brush, but I think it's, for the most part, pretty true. These guys have been the leader. They've been the best player on their teams. Now, a lot of these guys all play together growing up these days. So maybe they weren't the best player, but they were one of them. I think most of these guys, if they're not the captain, they're an assistant captain on the teams in which they played. Knowing that, would you follow somebody who wants to give up on you?
No, I mean, if he said that he still wanted to wear it, I'd probably tell him to go ask his teammates how they feel. I mean, I wonder how they feel right now if he did come back. Well,
yeah, but the teammates wouldn't say. I don't think the teammates would say something like that because they're still friends at the end of the day. They're still friends, and there's still some respect there.
And they probably understand
like the way he handled it. I don't like the way he's handled it.
No,
but it doesn't mean you take away 4 straight years of 30 goals. It doesn't take away a gold medal. It doesn't take away his leadership attributes.
It wasn't
long ago, Andy, where He was saying something about the general manager that you and I said. You could have been talking to Jack at Channel 8 in the sports room, and you were pissed that Yzerman didn't do something, and you may have said something. You're not effective, Andy. You're not affected by any of it. All it is tugging at your emotions. This dude has to live it every day. He says something, he's the bad guy.
Yeah, right.
Now, I don't think it should be said in public. I think it should be said in private. My guess is he did say it in private.
Yeah, the other part
My guess is if you get to that, if you're pushed to that point, Andy, you've probably said it in public.
Well, a lot of his teammates can feel the same way too. You know what I mean? Like there's almost no doubt in my mind some of them do. But
absolutely, I bet his teammates did feel the same way, and maybe there are some of his teammates. Dude, hey, good for you. So if he doesn't say it, who does? Because I hate to tell you this, Andy McDonald, Matt Shepard, Freddie the Pizza Man, anybody, we say it. It doesn't matter. Go ahead and say it on the radio on your network throughout the state. Say it on the stream service that you're giving to people every single morning. To Steve Yzerman, go, holy crap! I mean,
he does not care.
Yeah, X's and Bros is against me. Now I got to do something. No. Oh my gosh, Andy McDonald covers every single Grand Rapids Griffin game. He knows this team as well as Sean Horkoff does. He feels like I should do something. I better do something about it. Hell no.
He definitely don't care.
But if Dylan Larkin and his teammates are like, hey, man, you're losing us. You're losing our room.
You should listen to that.
More, okay? You would think it would carry a little bit more weight. I'm not saying that Dylan Larkin wasn't to blame here. He needs to be better. He needed to elevate his game. And guess what else? The entire team did. But if you and I are sitting here saying this team needs something, the Lions needed something. We felt the Tigers needed something. Just this last year, the Pistons had 60 wins. We thought the Pistons needed something. And it doesn't get done. We're complaining about it. Players can't. It's how you go about it. I say this about broadcasting all the time. If you're calling for a team, you can ridicule the team. It's how you do it. You don't do it as a talk show host. You do it as a professional. They would like to have that one back. They need to be better in this area. Whereas a talk show host might go overreacting and say, this team sucks, blah, 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 right? Can't do that as a play-by-play voice. As a player, there's nothing wrong with knocking on Steve's door. Hey, man, can we talk? Team is really down right now. You haven't done anything. Saying that in public, when you cross that bridge, understand how it's going to be received at the other end. It will affect your relationship. You are calling out your boss. How many people can do that?
Yeah, not a lot. You let that out in the world, that's definitely going to affect it. It clearly has.
No question. And with that said, that's our Mitch Lyons Well poll question. Who's more to blame during this saga? Dylan Larkin or Steve Yzerman? Vote as often as you want. Andy has tweeted it out there at XB Mornings. I have retweeted it at Shep Matt, and we will discuss tomorrow in the 8 o'clock hour.
The stock market goes up and then it goes down. It's fine while you're saving for retirement, but as you get closer to retirement, it can cause stress. Mitch Lyons here, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. In my NFL days, the season could be a real roller coaster and a lot of fun, but roller coasters in retirement aren't as much fun. Do world events have you wondering if your retirement is safe? Will your money last even if the stock market were to take a dive? Have you had your retirement account stress tested to see what kind of risk you're actually taking? Let's not leave your retirement to chance. Hope is not a plan. Contact the pros at Mitch Lyons Wealth today and put us to work for you. Let's ensure your plan works even if the stock market doesn't. Text PLAN, P-L-A-N, to 844-867-8335. That's PLAN to 844-867-8335. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement. Investment advisory services are offered through MLW Advisory Services, LLC, DBA Mitch Lyons Wealth, a registered investment advisor. Hey, West Michigan, Mitch Lyons here. You've heard about our support of Tiger legend Kirk Gibson's fight against Parkinson's disease. Now we have a local opportunity to support West Michigan families affected by Parkinson's too. The first annual Drive Out Parkinson's Golf event, presented by the Grady's Parkinson's Promise, will be held Monday, June 29th at Watermark Country Club. And while the golf is at full capacity, you still have a chance to help support the cause. Mitch Lyons Wealth is the title sponsor, and we'd love to have others join us. If your business would like to support and be represented at the outing, or if you would like to contribute personally, it's easy to do by joining our team today. Just go to birdease.com, that's BIRDEASE.com/Drive Out Parkinson's to sign up for sponsorship packages or donate today. X's and BrO's and the Huge Show will both do their shows live from the course, and Shep and Huge are playing in the event. Join us in supporting this great cause. A portion of the proceeds will go to Gibby Center, and the rest will support local families. Go to birdease.com/Drive Out Parkinson's or contact me at MitchLyonsWealth.com for more info.
Dad, here's 3 reasons why we should go to the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give.
Okay.
1, you can spend Father's Day weekend with some real golfers.
Ouch.
2, it's a good time for a good cause. Foodie fun, family fun, and fun helping feed neighbors in need.
And 3.
3, do you really need another reason?
Join the fun June 18th through 21st at the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Learn more and get tickets at MeyerLPGAClassic.com.
Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sportsnet. Sign up like the Huge Show did with the Detroit Sportsnet Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at tigers.com and MLB.com.
What's up, Michigan? You're listening to my good friend Shep. The Huge Show is coming up later today at 3, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Was the second hour of the program already? It is. Welcome back. X's and Bros, Monday through Friday from 6 until 9. Something we didn't get to. 30-year-old Patrick Mahomes agrees to a 2-year contract extension with the Chiefs. That's going to keep him in Kansas City through 2033. And the value of his entire financial package is $505 million. So it's 8 years. This is the total now with the 2 years added on to it. 8 years, $505 million. The max value is $522 million. 4 years are guaranteed at signing. He's got additional early vesting guarantees as well.
He's going to be hurting if he doesn't get to that 522.
Oh man, I'm probably in the minority, at least in the state of Michigan. I like Patrick Mahomes. I think he's a really good player. I think he whines too much, no doubt. There's a lot of people who whine. All right, Dylan Larkin has a tendency to whine, but I like Dylan Larkin. That may change for you, which is an interesting question that maybe we'll get to. But Mahomes' previous contract had 6 years, $266 million remaining through 2031, or $44 million a year. So they've restructured it. He's now on the books for at least $63 million per year going forward. $63 million. I just said something. I'm wondering, can you like a player, but hate how he's acting or hate what he's doing? Is there a guy or a girl, I suppose, that you're rooting for? Suddenly he or she does something and you still like them, you just don't like the way they go about certain things?
I'm sure there is. I'm just trying to that's a really unique situation, I guess. I'm trying to think of most time when they annoy you, you don't like them, I feel like. But I'm sure there is one like that.
Yeah, I think the thing is that Dylan Larkin requesting the trade, without going any deeper than we've already gone, it makes it feel like it's a difference of today's athletes.
Okay, to answer your question, can it be a coach?
Matthew Tkachuk did it, right? We've seen that. Quinn Hughes did it. We didn't think about that much because Quinn Hughes was thinking about Detroit. Remember? When this all happened, when that went down, did you view Quinn Hughes, who went to Vancouver and said, I want out? Did you view him as a quitter, a traitor, or anything like that? No. You know why? Because Detroit was one of the places he wanted to go, and all you felt was Steve Yzerman screwed it up.
Yep.
That's why. People in Vancouver were feeling exactly what we think right now about Dylan Larkin.
That is crazy to think about. Wow.
So that's why I asked the question. Can you still I like Quinn Hughes. I wanted him here. But if I'm in Vancouver, you're giving him the double bird. If you're in Calgary, you're doing that to Matthew Tkachuk. I like Matthew Tkachuk. People were cheering him on because he was an assistant captain for Team USA and helped the team win gold. And he's won 2 Stanley Cups. So people in Florida love him. But people in Calgary hate him. If you're getting your guy, you're getting the guy that says, I'm done with that team. I want this team. I'm Alex DeBrincat. I want to go home. Awesome. Here you go, Ottawa. Bring him back. People in Detroit, we got our guy. This is awesome. Suddenly, we have a guy who wants to leave us, even though he's homegrown. Now he's the bad guy. Can you ever like that player again? You never would have liked Chris Chelios when he was in Chicago, but you loved him when he came here. I think you can do that.
Patrick Kane.
Can I give you an example? Sergei Fedorov. When Sergei Fedorov wanted to go to Carolina, stayed here. People didn't like him. When he did leave for Columbus or wherever, Anaheim, people hated him. He comes back, gets his number retired. People love him again. Now,
I think Patrick Kane is one of those though, too, right? Like,
yeah, but Patrick Kane.
People definitely didn't like him in Detroit.
Yeah, they didn't like him while he played in Chicago. I don't think they cared about him with the Rangers, but they didn't like him while he was in Chicago.
Oh yeah, no.
And now a lot of people like him, but they didn't. It's different when you're here first and then you want to leave. I think people liked Matthew Stafford when he asked for a trade, they were pissed off. Then he comes back because of the good things he said about the area. People embraced him until, a few other quotes, and then they had enough. But I do believe with Patrick Kane, it was like, okay, but he was in Chicago. If you start in Detroit, Sergei Fedorov, my example, and then want to leave, that's a little more of a prickly pear.
Yeah, and I think it depends on how many championships or whatever you did when you were there too. Because
well, there's the difference.
Yeah, because right? Kane, I think when you see a lot of the comments of like when he got traded here, there were so many people that it felt like still were like, we still like you, Kane. Like I didn't think the overall reaction was, oh my gosh, we can never like this guy again because he just got traded to Detroit. Even though they probably hated Detroit back in those days too. I'm talking about Chicago fans. They seemed like they were like, okay with it because he brought so many Stanley Cups back to Chicago.
Exactly.
The
difference with Sergei Fedorov, my example, was that he won 3 cups here. So you win 3 cups and you move on. It's easier to welcome them back.
Right.
Dylan Larkin captaining a team that has never made the playoffs. While he was a captain, they never made the playoffs. That's a different story.
Oh, you want to leave? Screw you. That's
exactly.
been the whole thing. Yeah.
Right. 100%. So anyway, that's kind of what I was looking at. But could you ever like him again? There's a report that Connor Hellebuck wants out of Winnipeg and wants to go someplace else. Florida is one of the places. It's interesting that so many of these guys are wanting to go to Florida. And Matthew Tkachuk's down in Florida. And I'm just wondering if they were all talking, hey, man, let's get together and do what LeBron James did. I'm not saying that's what they said. I'm just wondering. I can't help but wonder a little bit. And I heard a podcast with Ray Ferraro yesterday where he said, look, this never happened in my day. You don't request a trade. You may get traded, but you don't request a trade. This is going to force teams, more and more teams, to say, you want your no trade clause? Like you want to sign a long-term deal and you want a no trade clause? That's not happening. It doesn't take much for some of these guys today to sit there and say, I want out. Is that quitting on your team? Is that bettering your situation? I say this all the time because I believe it to be true. When you first get in the league, you're thrilled and you can't believe you made it. You accomplished your dream. Then you want to make as much money as you possibly can because you realize your shelf life isn't all that long or big or high, however you want to describe it. I mean, think about it. A lot of these guys, you're retired in your late 30s. You've stopped doing what you were trained to do your entire life. You've been doing it your entire life. You're done at the age of 38, 39, whatever. Depends on who you are. Nick Lidstrom, 41, whatever. Okay. So you're done. I mean, that's not the case in golf. You can keep playing. But in these sports, you're pretty much done. So you're going to make as much money as you possibly can early on. But if you're not winning, Mike Trout, what you're doing is you're looking for a way to finally accomplish that other part of your dream. Because everybody's dream is to make as much money as you can and win championships. Hi, Shohei Ohtani. Hi, Derek Jeter. That's the dream. They accomplished that dream. Not everybody gets the opportunity to. But what they do is they want to where am I going to be able to accomplish the last part of the dream? And again, not making excuses for Dylan Larkin, but you're making your money, you're living comfortably, but what's the void that needs to be filled? Winning a championship. And by the way, my example of Mike Trout, I'm not saying he has asked for a trade, although I'm sure he would welcome one. Our phone number on the Meyer hotline, 866-838-4843. You can text us, Sports Radio 21,000. Join us in the chat here as we stream live on YouTube, X, and on Facebook on a Tullymore Thursday, brought to you by Meyer.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive, boys and girls, high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Celebrate the soul of folk and Americana. The Lumineers Automatic World Tour comes to Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort Sunday night, July 19th, with special guest Josiah and the Bonnevilles, part of the Soaring Eagle Outdoor Summer Concert Series. Tickets start at $67 and are on sale now at the box office or online at etix.com. Showtime 8 p.m. See the Lumineers live with Josiah and the Bonnevilles, July 19th at Soaring Eagle Casino, SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Our state is Mecca for golf, and one of Michigan's crown jewels is Tullymore and St. Ives, two world-class championship courses in one charming and beautiful location. The golf is challenging but fair. You're going to use every club in your bag. But let me tell you what makes Tullymore really special. It's the people. From the wait staff to the bartenders to the pro shop and the management, their sole purpose is to give you a memorable experience, and they do. Go to TullymoreGolf.com today and experience a Michigan masterpiece.
We're going to get to, at 7:35, the breakout player for the Lions this year. Who do you think should be that breakout player? All right. Looking forward to that, without a doubt. There's a national writer out there who feels like certain players need a change of scenery in baseball, in Major League Baseball. He lists 8 players who he feels needs a change of scenery. Jake Berger of the Rangers, for example. Michael Lorenzen, who's pitching for the Rockies. I don't know if you knew that. Tyler Mahle. Bo Naylor, the young catcher for the Guardians, who was this up-and-coming great player, if people recall, but has not lived up to that hype by any stretch. David Peterson for the Mets needs a change of scenery. Matt Shaw, the utility player for the Cubs, needs a change of scenery. Number 8 on this list that was on MLB.com, and it was written by Mark Feinstein, who also works for MLB Network. And I don't always agree with, but he brings up some interesting points, and he makes me think. He writes some things that make me think. I think he's too New York heavy. It's just my opinion, but whatever. Number 8 on the list is a Tiger. Who do you think it is, Andy? Who's the Tiger who needs a change of scenery? Which Detroit Tiger do you think needs a change of scenery?
If I had to guess one player, probably, well, it's probably, I would guess Spencer Torkelson, to be honest.
It is Spencer Torkelson. Here's what he writes. The Tigers expected Torkelson, the number 1 overall pick in 2020 draft, to be a cornerstone of the franchise for years to come, but the 26-year-old has alternated 31 homer seasons in 2023 and 2025 with unproductive campaigns, struggling to be consistent force he has shown the ability to be. Torkelson has 9 home runs in 65 games this season, though a 5-game home run streak in late April accounted for more than half of his power production in 2026. In other words, he got hot for a period of time. People said he was back. I didn't want to give up on him early. I didn't think that he was all the way back when he went on that homer streak. But we have a tendency to, overreact. And last night went 0 for 3 with 2 punch-outs, and it's getting old. So the average is down to 211. The power's not there. It's under 400. Either way.
But he's shown these glimpses. I mean, he mentions the 230 home run seasons, he said in that article,
31
right?
homers in 2 out of the last 3 years.
That's where somebody would probably, that's why I thought he'd be the guy that would need a change of scenery, just because you would think that maybe somebody out there thinks, oh, well, he's got that kind of power and he's still young enough. Like there's a chance we could turn him into, being a more consistent hitter than what he is in Detroit.
Well, I don't expect him to be a consistent hitter in terms of batting average. I don't think he's any more than probably like a 240, 245.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
What I did expect is for him to have a higher on base plus slugging percentage, OPS.
Yep.
I expected him to have a higher slug. What would you like, in year 2 of his career, where he hit 31 homers and 94 RBIs? He only hit 233, but he slugged 446. I'd like it higher than that, obviously. His career high in slugging is 456. Now, again, you want something higher than that. For a guy who's getting a consistent run, you want something much higher than what he has shown you. I don't expect 701 like Aaron Judge had a couple of years ago. Aaron Judge led the league last year in slugging with 688. I don't think it's far-fetched to expect Spencer Torkelson to have a 500-plus slug. Okay? If you're going to sit there and preach to me, I don't care about the batting average, fine. I'm going to get rid of it. Forget the year where he hit 233, where he hit 219, where he's hitting 211 this year. He hit 240 last year. Okay? Forget that then. But a career slug of 41, of 410 is not acceptable. It's just not. And I've gone back and forth before with certain people I know about Spencer Torkelson and whether or not the home runs are enough. But a friend of mine and a contributor to the Huge Show, Monday through Friday, 3 till 7 on these same networks. If you're talking Tigers baseball, John Vanderwall oftentimes joins Billy in the afternoon to talk about the Tigers. I don't agree with everything John has to say. We have good debates about certain things. I respect his opinion because of what he's done and how he's coached and his baseball knowledge. Doesn't mean I can't disagree with him based on my knowledge. But he brought up a really good point to me. And I said to him one time, I said, look, the dude had 31 homers. This was from 2023. He had 31 homers and 94 RBIs. He said, Shep, dude had 600 plus at-bats. He had 606 at-bats, 684 plate appearances. So he's walking in there, obviously, and making some sacrifice flies and such. But as an at-bat, he's at over 600 at-bats. Shouldn't he be hitting more than 31 homers for 600 at-bats? If you have a power hitter who's getting 600 plus at-bats and you're getting 31 homers, that's good. He said it's not great. It's fine, but it's not great. And it really got me thinking a little bit. And quite honestly, it changed my mind. Now, I would argue this. A lot of this has to do with winning. Whether you like it or not, it's true. What did we bring up yesterday? We brought up how Dylan Dingler is on pace to do something not many Tigers catchers have ever done, and that's hit over 30 homers and drive in over 100 runs. And I had mentioned that Lance Parrish, who I think is a borderline Hall of Famer and should have gotten more consideration, only once in his career drove in more than 100 runs. And only twice in his career hit 30 homers or more. To put it in perspective, he hit 32 homers in 1982 with 486 at-bats. So he had roughly 130 less at-bats than Spencer Torkelson and hit one more homer. So it did make me think a little bit more about that statistic. Feinstein continues. Torkelson is arbitration eligible for 2 more years, though the Tigers have 21-year-old Jose Briseño working his way toward the majors, giving Detroit a potential replacement for 2027. If the disappointing Tigers decide to reset at the trade deadline, Torkelson could be a risk-reward acquisition for a club seeking a power bat. Well, that's fine. I appreciate the take. The difference is Torkelson's got 9 homers. Look at his numbers with the bases loaded and look at how many RBIs he has. Spencer Torkelson, unfortunately, only has, and he's a guy who's supposed to hit in the middle of your order, but he doesn't. He hits in the lower third of your order. And when you're talking about RBIs, he's got 25. That's it. Dingler's got more. Green's got more. Carpenter has more, and he's played in 18 fewer games.
Yeah, that's true. It's a little jarring right there.
Kevin McGonigal is a top of the order guy. He's setting the table, and he's got 1 fewer RBIs than Spencer Torkelson does. Matt Vierling missed a lot of the season and missed basically all of last season. He's got 2 fewer RBIs. Where's the value? Who's going to say this is the guy we need? Unless it's a right-handed pinch-hitting role similar to that of Jahmai Jones. Our phone number on the Meijer hotline, 866-838-4843. Our text number is Sports Radio 21,000, and you can join us in the chat as we stream live on Facebook, on X, and on YouTube on a Tullymore Thursday, brought to you by our friends at Meijer.
Farrah's Coffee has been family-owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Farrah's Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual. Our state is Mecca for golf, and one of Michigan's crown jewels is Tullymore and St. Ives, two world-class championship courses in one charming and beautiful location. The golf is challenging but fair. You're going to use every club in your bag. But let me tell you what makes Tullymore really special. It's the people. From the wait staff to the bartenders to the pro shop and the management, their sole purpose is to give you a memorable experience, and they do. Go to TullymoreGolf.com today and experience a Michigan masterpiece.
Rod Stewart returns to Soaring Eagle Thursday, September 3rd. The Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series with special guest Richard Marx. Tickets start at $71 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com. One last time, Rod Stewart with Richard Marx, September 3rd. SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Huge here for all the ABC warehouse locations in Michigan. Now, if you're looking for the best prices on TVs, furniture, appliances, mattresses, and more, you need to go to abcwarehouse.com. You can shop there and also shop in person at all ABC warehouse locations across Michigan. For the one close to you, go to abcwarehouse.com. Best deals on TVs, appliances, furniture, and mattresses at all ABC warehouse locations in Michigan. Coming up later today at 3 on The Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
35 after the hour. Welcome back, X's and Bros, Monday through Friday, 6 until 9, throughout the great state of Michigan. Football is always an interesting conversation with people. I want to get to first something that a national writer said about the constant theme that follows the Tigers for the last 2 years. John Heyman was on a podcast yesterday. He contributes to MLB Network as well and CBS Sports. He has a list of suitors for Skubal that we'll get to for sure. Let me get to a text real quick. Shep, remember the next time Scott Harris signs a starting pitcher, we can't get too excited about the signing until a few months in. Ironically, the two starting pitchers he's not going to sign, Mize and Skubal, are going to go on to star elsewhere next year. Well, look, Skubal's been a star here. Mize was a star last year. Was he a star? You lead your team in wins, you're an all-star. You could say that. I don't expect him to sign Tarek Skubal. I'm not sure about Casey Mize. Does get injured. If he did sign Casey Mize to a long-term deal, I'm sure a lot of people would complain that you're signing a guy who gets injured too frequently. If he trades them both, if Detroit's out of it, and they lost 6-4 last night, if they're out of it, then you can't necessarily blame him if he does trade them, depending on what he gets in return. So, I mean, that's a tough one right there. I thought the Valdez signing was a very good one. I don't know many people who didn't. He's been disappointing so far. No, he's got more starts to come. All right. He's only made about half his starts so far this year. I think he's made like 14 starts, which leads the league. You expect him to make about 31 or so. So he's got if he stays healthy, a good 17 starts left. So he can turn it around. But he hasn't been what I thought he would be. Let's go to Jim. He's next here on X's and Bros. He wants to talk a little Spencer Torkelson. Morning, Jimmy. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm doing well. I just wanted to call in about Spencer Torkelson. I think the big issue with him is entirely mental. Normally RBIs are a function of a player's spot in the lineup and hitters around him. But his numbers with runners in scoring position indicate that there's something that he can't handle with stress, whether it just puts too much on him or whatever. But that's internal. And I don't know how, Hinch or the organization fixes that if he can't handle that. That's got to be something that he works out on his own. And whether that can be fixed or not, I don't know. But, having a league average hitter or, even slightly below league average hitter at first base is not what you need at that position.
100%. Couldn't have said it better myself. It's well said. I'm not going to disagree a damn thing with it. He's hitting 244 this year with runners in scoring position, in case people are wondering. 244. He's a lifetime 209 batting average with runners in scoring position. 209. That's his lifetime, according to Baseball Reference. He's got an OBP of 30 with runners in scoring position. He's got a slug of 36. Unacceptable. Can't happen. It just can't.
Javier Baez is better than that.
I don't know what Baez's numbers are this year. Baez obviously been around a lot longer. I don't. That shouldn't be my measuring stick. Who should be?
Yeah.
Like when you and I are comparing him, who do we think he is? You don't think he's Freddie Freeman, right? Neither do I.
No.
Okay,
no,
so
you want a guy that can come up there and slug, like you said. You want a 500 slugger. Anything below that, I think that first base is too easy to replace, too easy to defend. I don't know if Briseño is going to be that. Briseño strikes out too much. They got to figure that out, but I feel like they can find somebody else.
I'm starting to lean that way as well. I'll give you a quick example. Ben Rice in New York with the Yankees has been very good. Mm-hmm. He's one of those guys. Now he's got more. Mm-hmm. You could argue he's got more around him. All right. And he hasn't done it very long. So I'm not going to try and judge too quickly because Ben Rice I think in his second full season, Torkelson in his second full season, 31 and 94. That's what you're looking for, right? But if you're looking at first baseman, these are some of the guys that you're going to compare them to. It's unfair to compare him to Freddie Freeman or a prime time Paul Goldschmidt. But if you're looking at certain players, look, Nick Kurtz is a good example. Do you know who Nick Kurtz is for the A's? Of course you do. Nick Kurtz is having a great year. Now, this is just his second year. You know what his batting average is with runners in scoring position? It's 465. That's impressive.
Most of the league, most of the league, the runners in scoring position, you look at players that are hitting in that, they're generally better. The fact that his gets worse is weird.
Can I tell you my fear? This is probably unfair because I like Spencer Torkelson. I really do. I got a chance to know him. I really like him. I root for him heavy. Here's my biggest fear.
Yeah.
That he's Miguel Sano. That's my fear. Miguel Sano was, I think Torkelson's a better fielding first baseman, but Miguel Sano struck out a lot, never hit for a high average. His career average is 233. He on occasion would have a big home run season, 28 one year, 34 one year, drive in 90 runs, maybe not even, quite honestly, about 80, but never was consistent enough, and batting average sucked, and his on-base percentage sucked, and his slugging was less than ideal. That's my biggest fear. And I'm not sure he'll be around.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Probably
I would
unfair.
think at this point, Dave Kingman. Yeah.
Well, you're dating yourself, and you're dating me. You know that, right?
No, I know.
If you and I know Dave Kingman, the knock on Dave Kingman that he struck out a lot, right? Hit a lot of homers, but he struck out a lot. If I said to you, the most strikeouts for Dave Kingman in a single season was about 50 less than what Riley Green did a year ago, would that surprise you? Okay, so the most
not at all.
The most Dave Kingman ever struck out in a single season was 156. But he also,
Dave Kingman was
in his, but see, here's the difference. Back then, that was a lot of strikeouts. Today, we just accept it. That's the way it is, right? Yeah, good stuff, man. I appreciate the phone call. Good thoughts. Obviously, know your baseball. Appreciate it. Have a great day. Phone number is 866-838-4843. The constant theme that we're hearing, and it's been really for 2 years, we'll hear it about Dylan Larkin. We're hearing it about Tarek Skubal too. Where's he going? Unless you think the Tigers can make a comeback, and there are people who truly believe that. I understand why they do, quite honestly. The American League's not very good. We've said this time and time again. If you look at the American League, just follow it. Who's in first place in the AL Central? Go.
White Sox?
That's right. The White Sox are a half game up because the White Sox won again last night. I mean, good for them. It does push your concern. They beat a good Atlanta team 2-1 last night. It's not like Atlanta was kicking the ball all over the yard. They beat them last night 2-1. Really impressive.
With how bad they've been, they're playing great baseball, man. Like,
oh my God,
it's
incredible.
Really good. Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Yankees beat the Guardians. I almost said the Tribe. Yankees beat the Guardians. So Yankees with 41 wins. Cleveland now is just 4 games above 500. They've dropped 4 in a row. They've lost 7 of 10. They're going through a really tough stretch. Nobody in New York is making the excuse that Aaron Judge is hurt. But we're going to complain that all our guys are hurt, and that's the reason we lost. But either way, okay, Cleveland's now a half game back. Chicago is 36 up and 31 down. They are the only team in the division who has a plus run differential. And I know people roll their eyes at me when I bring this up all the time. Can I just give you the reason it's important? How many teams are above 500 in the East? We play this game once a week, Andy and I. There's 2. Tampa, New York, they're the only 2 teams with a run-scoring differential on the positive side. There are 2 teams in the American League Central that are above 500. One of those teams has a plus in run differential, and there is 1 team in the AL West that is above 500, Seattle, and they are a plus in the run differential. Nobody has a better run scoring differential than the New York Yankees at 103. Tied with the Brewers, That's in the American League. The Dodgers lead everybody in that category with 141. They're a plus 141. The Braves are a plus 114, but they got beat by the White Sox last night, 2-1. So when people say, hey, listen, I could see the Tigers making a comeback. Heard it on the broadcast 2 nights ago. Hey, listen, they win now. They're only 8 games back. Okay, only 8 games back. They're 8.5 back opening play this afternoon. How many teams in the American League do you look at and shake your head saying, we ain't beating that team? Not many. It's hard to say Tampa because you swept Tampa. Yankees got 41 wins. They lead the way. Seattle with 36 wins. Are they that much better than you? I like their starting pitching. I like what they have to offer. No question. You just beat them 2 out of 3. And that's without Tarek Skubal making a start. That's without Casey Mize making a start.
Competed with them last year in the playoffs if you want to go back to that too. So, I mean,
sure,
it's not like that. It's a lot of the same players.
Yeah, a lot of the same players. Not completely. Yeah, a lot of the same players, right? Seattle with a different manager, right? But whatever. In other words, it's open. There are teams that are below 500. Texas. You don't think Texas feels pretty good about their situation? Not ideal, but they would be a buyer at the trade deadline. They're 2 games back in the AL West. They're 2.5 games back of the final wild card because those wild cards would be the Yankees and the Guardians. Well, come on, man. Of course. The Athletics. This is so thrilling for that fan base if they have one. Toronto feels like they're there. Baltimore was left for dead, man. Baltimore's 2 games back of the final wild card. So if you don't think Detroit can leapfrog a few teams and 5.5 back of the final wild card, which currently sits as Texas, you're crazy. So that's why a lot of people feel like there is something there. John Heyman has his list of suitors for Tarek Skubal. This is what he had to say on a podcast yesterday. Go ahead and play it, Andy.
Obviously, they have a great bullpen with Mason Miller, with several other relievers, Morhone and others. Could they become a seller? It's possible. I don't know that AJ Preller has it in him. The new ownership certainly would like to go for it. I hear they're going to be aggressive. They certainly were aggressive with their bid at $3.9 billion. So I think that the Padres are my number 5 team. Those are my 5: Dodgers, Rays, Brewers, Cubs, and Padres for Skubal. We shall see.
Good stuff. Thank you, Andy, for cutting that up. So San Diego, he was talking about San Diego there to start. But that was his 5th team. The first team was the Dodgers, obviously. Tampa and Milwaukee, which might surprise some people just because of their payrolls, right? View him as a rental. I mean, Milwaukee's done it before. They did it with CC Sabathia. It was a while back. And then, of course, Chicago. You have 3 big spending teams and 2 teams that could go for it. This might be the best year for Tampa. Who knows? Not sure. Chicago, a lot of pressure on the Cubs, for sure. There has to be because of their payroll and because, let's face it, they went out and got the manager they thought was going to be a difference maker, and he hasn't been a difference maker. He hasn't. I mean, Milwaukee won the division a year ago, and in 2024, it was Milwaukee comfortably winning, beat his team by 10. So the Brewers, even without Craig Counsell, they've been just fine. But they spent a lot of money, and there are high expectations, and they started out really good, remember? And now they have just not been able to find their way. They've lost 3 in a row, 7 of their last 10. They are 8 games back of the Brewers in the division. So much for the impact. So much for Pete Crow Armstrong. So much for, name a player on the Chicago Cubs. It just hasn't happened. So maybe that gives them that spunk. And, of course, the obvious connection there is Scott Harris with the Cubs organization. We'll see how that turns out. But that's an interesting list. 2 are not surprising at all. But about a month ago, that same reporter, John Heyman, had the Cubs at number 1. And we talked about that, too, here on X's and BrO's, if you recall. So I'm not going to try to fool you and say, I would want him to go to this team because of their prospects, but I can tell you Milwaukee is the deepest. The Cubs, not so much. Somebody had asked me the other day, hey, would you do Skubal for Mason Miller? And I'm like, well, San Diego wouldn't do that. I mean, and the Tigers wouldn't do that. Why would the Tigers want just a closer for a starter? No way. I think Mason Miller is the best at what he does. I shouldn't have said San Diego wouldn't do that. San Diego probably would do that. I mean,
yeah, I was going to say, but if you're in Detroit, though, you know how important a closer can be right now because of the way this year's with some of their games towards the end of the.
Yeah, but look, their middle of the bullpen hadn't been great either.
No,
right?
No part of it.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. If Mason Miller is the best at his job, I don't know if I would want to let him go if I was San Diego.
Yes, you've got to get to that point. Okay, who's the best starter for San Diego right now? Randy Vasquez, Michael King. I don't know. I'm not sure who they would consider to be their ace, if you will. Walker Buehler. No, so they could absolutely use it. I think Mason Miller is incredible at what he does. Right? I mean, he's got 18 saves. Would he have that opportunity here in Detroit? Has it been blowing saves or blowing leads that's been the biggest problem for Detroit?
I mean, overall blowing leads. There's definitely more leads blown. Yeah.
Right. So you got to get it to a guy like Mason.
Yeah, exactly. You have to get it there. Yeah.
Right. So that's to me, that's the issue right there. And I think San Diego, their biggest problem is offense right now. I gave you the numbers from yesterday, just how bad they've been. Their hitting has been atrocious, simply atrocious. So Fernando Tatis has not been what he probably should be. Jackson Merrill has been awful, and I like him a lot. Manny Machado has been god-awful. Xander Bogaerts is batting .231. Jackson Merrill's batting .207. Manny Machado is batting a Zach McKinstry like 172. Gavin Sheets is batting 2.25. Ty France is batting .265. I mean, these are guys, and Fernando Tatis is batting .281, which is fine, but he's only got 2 bombs. Got 2 home runs. For a guy who's got that much power and makes that much money and is that integral in building around your team and signed long-term, 2 home runs doesn't cut it. Kevin McGonigal's got more home runs than he does. It's ridiculous. That's what they need. They need offense. So I don't know if they have the prospects. John Heyman probably wouldn't put him on the list if they didn't have the prospects. When we come back, I do want to talk a little Lions here. This is interesting. Who's the breakout player for the Lions this year? And a crazy take on which NFC team has the best supporting cast. All that and more coming up in the final hour of X's and Bros. We're glad you're with us on a Tullymore Thursday. We're brought to you by Meyer.
The stock market goes up and then it goes down. It's fine while you're saving for retirement, but as you get closer to retirement, it can cause stress. Mitch Lyons here, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. In my NFL days, this season could be a real roller coaster and a lot of fun, but roller coasters in retirement aren't as much fun. Do world events have you wondering if your retirement is safe? Will your money last even if the stock market were to take a dive? Have you had your retirement account stress tested to see what kind of risk you're actually taking? Let's not leave your retirement to chance. Hope is not a plan. Contact the pros at Mitch Lyons Wealth today and put us to work for you. Let's ensure your plan works even if the stock market doesn't. Text PLAN, P-L-A-N, to 844-867-8335. That's PLAN to 844-867-8335. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement. Investment advisory services are offered through MLW Advisory Services, LLC, DBA Mitch Lyons Wealth, a registered investment advisor.
Dad, here's 3 reasons why we should go to the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give.
Okay.
1, you can spend Father's Day weekend with some real golfers.
Ouch.
2, it's a good time for a good cause. Foodie fun, family fun, and fun helping feed neighbors in need.
And 3.
3, do you really need another reason?
Join the fun June 18th through 21st at the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Learn more and get tickets at MeyerLPGAClassic.com.
Farrah's Coffee has been family-owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Farrah's Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
Van Andel Institute Purple Community is a grassroots fundraising network powered by the dedicated volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve human health now and in the future. When you raise funds through the Van Andel Institute Purple Community, 100% of the proceeds go directly to the Institute's research into diseases like cancer and Parkinson's, as well as VAI's science education programs. Learn how you can get involved at purplecommunity.org. What's up, Michigan? You're listening to my good friend Shep. The Huge Show is coming up later today at 3, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
DraftKings Sports is live in all 50 states. And, of course, that means in our great state, the state of Michigan. 2 teams left, 1 trophy. Don't know how much longer it's going to go after last night. Every possession, every fourth quarter swing. And there was a huge swing last night in the fourth quarter. Every clutch shot. Make sure you've got it all in the palm of your hand. One app, DraftKings Sports. It's now available for you in the state of Michigan. So whether you're catching the tip-off at home for a Game 7 or you're at the bar with friends, you're in on every single minute, every game, every moment right here in Michigan. The finals are in the palm of your hand. New DraftKings customers can sign up with the code HUGE, spend $5 to get 200 rewards guaranteed. That code is HUGE, HUGE, in partnership with DraftKings. The crowd is yours. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER, 21 years or older, Michigan only. Eligibility restrictions do apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.com/audio. This is a limited time offer. Final hour of the program. We're brought to you on this Tullymore Thursday, brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. In case you missed it, in case you went to bed last night, in case you turned it off and said, I'm going to watch a rerun of Yellowstone instead of the NBA Finals because the Spurs were up 29. New York did something no team has ever done. They came back and they won 107-106. They were down 20 in the fourth quarter. They didn't take their first lead till $1:22 left in the game. Jalen Brunson poured in 36. I know how you feel about him. You feel like he flops. You feel like he whines. You feel like he gets favorable calls. He hit a fadeaway jumper from about 18 feet on the right side of the floor with a leaning, lunging Victor Wembanyama. And he hit it. And he is a gutsy, tough SOB. We should appreciate that. If any of us have watched Isaiah Thomas play, I'm not going to go back to Eric Money. I'm not going back to Kevin Porter. I'm not going back to the John Mengelt years, all right? Dave Bing was silky smooth when he played. Isaiah Thomas was tough, man. Tiny Archibald, tough. Those guys were not afraid of anybody. Jalen Brunson's that kind of player. So you may not like him because of certain things. Isaiah Thomas didn't do that stuff. He didn't do the flopping and everything. But I'm telling you, man, the more you watch this dude, and he wasn't great until last night. He had been struggling with his shot. Last night, it didn't matter. So really appreciate what he did. He had 36. OG Anunoby was phenomenal, on both sides of the floor. He was at 33. So they were the first Knicks duo to ever each have 30 or more in an NBA Finals game. New York are now up 3-1 in the series. They're going back to San Antonio. You can't help but wonder what this does to the psyche of the Spurs because they looked like a completely different team. They only scored 30 points in the second half. It made no sense. Think about that. You're going so well. You're doing so much right. You score 30 points in the second half. They scored 41 in the first quarter alone. They scored 35 in the second quarter. They scored more in each of the first quarters of the first half than they did the entire second half. What the hell happened? You can only burn so many timeouts, man. But you got to tell your guys, enough. Stop settling for threes. Start working it inside. If for no other reason, get them in foul trouble, and you couldn't do that. Maybe it was just the Knicks were that good. I don't know the answer. I just know I'm watching it. I was shaking my head. I'm like, this is unbelievable. When they got it to 9, I went, ooh. Suddenly you're under single digits. You're like, San Antonio has to be feeling that a little bit. There has to be some anxiety. There has to be some, on edge, moving to the edge of your seat. People in San Antonio this morning have to be just shaking their heads violently saying, what the hell are we doing? It's amazing how your emotions can swing. Good to bad, bad to good. And even during the season, going into this playoffs, I mean, you just come up beating OKC. What are you saying to yourself? You and I are Spurs fans. What are you saying to me, Andy? We got this, man.
Yeah, it's
we just
in the
beat
bag.
The best team.
Everybody's been telling us all year that the West is the best. So
that's what everybody said. That's why you got to be careful. Tigers lose 6-4. Framber Valdez saddled with the loss. 4 runs, 6 hits, 2 homers in 5 innings. Detroit left 10 on base. The series wrap-up is this afternoon. Justin Verlander had a second rehab start for AAA Toledo. Gave up 4 homers, 5 hits in 5 2/3. Reports indicate Steve Yzerman has gone back to Dylan Larkin's representatives, Pat Brisson, and asked him to extend their list of teams that he would accept to trade to instead of just 3. And in other words, accept to trade to how many teams, not just 3, like what was originally reported, even though I think it's probably a little bit longer than that. Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals is tonight. You talk about a final series. Whew, has this been good, right? Carolina hosting Vegas, the series tied at 2. And Pat Mahomes agrees to a 2-year contract extension with the Chiefs. He is the first player in history to make $500 million. He's going to make $505 million. Here's our, still can't get over that. Here's our Mitch Lanswealth poll question of the day. Who is more to blame this Red Wing soap opera? Dylan Larkin or Steve Yzerman? Vote as often as you want. Hey, I saw this yesterday real quick. Somebody had put, and by the way, just real clear, the Spurs scored 76 or more in the first half. They're the only team in history to do that and then score 30 or fewer in the second half in any game, regular season or the playoffs. Crazy. Knicks trailed by 17 points with 9 minutes left. And teams entering last night, teams were 0-96 when down by 17 points in the final 9 minutes of regulation of regulation in a finals game since 1971. Since 1971, teams were 0-96 if they were down by that much with 9 minutes to go. They bucked the trend. I saw this on social media yesterday. It was a little surprising to me. But they were talking about the worst players who somebody drafted. Okay. So they wanted to know, they were looking at I don't know why you're looking at the 2013 MLB draft. Okay. But that's what they were doing. Which, okay, whatever. I looked at it, and in that 2013 draft, you look at the Detroit Tigers and they took Jonathan Crawford. All right. They had a chance to take some other players who would have helped them, including Aaron Judge. That's first and foremost.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I saw Aaron Judge play in a Cape Cod League game because me and my family used to go to Cape Cod every summer. We did it for 26, 27 straight years. It's my wife's happy place. And I was sitting next to her cousin, Jonathan. We were sitting, they play at high school fields, but they're really sweet. I would encourage anyone to go. It's a really cool experience. So we're sitting there on the very front of the stands, and Judge comes walking out of the dugout to the on deck circle. And I looked at Jonathan and I said, look at the size of this son of a blank. And I couldn't believe how big he was. He's a massive human being. And he hit one over the center field wall that it might still be going to this day. And I remember interviewing him in the Yankee clubhouse one time and saying to him, hey, I saw you play in the Cape. He's like, no way. I said, yeah, it was amazing. Anyway, I digress.
That's
so
cool.
They were
That's
asking,
really cool.
yeah, they were, I would seriously, you and your girlfriend, you might go take a nice trip, especially you should go during the summer, go to Cape Cod. You'll love it.
On the list.
She'll
man.
love it.
On the list.
Okay. It's on the list. I want you to go. There's a lot of different places you can stay. It gets expensive, but great food. And there's a lot to do. If you want to shop, if you want to go watch a baseball game, there's a ton to do. Anyway, so people were asking, the worst draft picks. And I thought, Lions 2014, they took Eric Ebron when Aaron Donald was there. But people forget 3 picks later, Odell Beckham went. They also took Kyle Van Noy in the second round, who I thought was great. They took him over Devontae Adams and Jimmy Garoppolo. In 2012, they took Riley Reif, who turned out to be an okay player, but they took him over David DeCastro, Pittsburgh, and Kevin Zeitler. They also took, that doesn't get mentioned, Ryan Broyles, the wide receiver out of Oklahoma, over Levante David.
Oof.
In 2011, they took Nick Fairley over Mike Pouncey, Cam Jordan, and Cam Hayward. They also took Titus Young and Mike LeSure in the second round. You know who was taken in the third round that year? Kelvin Shepard,
and
their defensive coordinator.
There's some names there.
It's unbelievable. And we got to take a quick time out. I promise we'll get to the football discussion I got to do a better job of this because there's just so many things that we want to talk about. We'll move on. We'll get to the Lions here when we come back on X's and Bros, brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
In the den. It's a new day to celebrate and be free. It's a new day full of action and excitement because it's a new day for winning. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, your getaway reimagined. This is Matt Shepard. Last year, the feeling was that the Tigers core consisted of Green, Torkelson, Carpenter, Skubal, Job, and we crossed our fingers that some of the young prospects would flourish enough to join them. Through 68 games this season, the names that make up the team's future are McGonigal, Green, Melton, and Dingler. Dylan Dingler could be the most important part of this franchise moving forward. He hits for average and power. He's on pace for over 30 homers and 100 RBIs. He's rock solid behind the plate, owning 1 Gold Glove, and this year he is tops among catchers and defensive runs saved. His pitching staff trusts him immensely, and he is the best in the league at challenging the ABS system. A captaincy is usually more common in hockey than baseball, but if the Tigers were to hand one out today, Dingler might be the best fit.
Dad, here's 3 reasons why we should go to the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give.
Okay.
1, you can spend Father's Day weekend with some real golfers.
Ouch.
2, it's a good time for a good cause. Foodie fun, family fun, and fun helping feed neighbors in need.
And 3.
3, do you really need another reason?
Join the fun June 18th through 21st at the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Learn more and get tickets at MeyerLPGAClassic.com.
Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sports Net. Sign up like the Ute Show did with the Detroit Sports Net Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at tigers.com and MLB.com.
The one team that we don't always look at of drafting and missing out on draft picks. We bring up Philip Zadina all the time because we should have had Quinn Hughes. People forget Detroit drafted Riley Sheehan out of Notre Dame, Thomas Yurko, Xavier Ouellette, Ryan Sproul, 2011, right? Combined, those players in 328 games had 69 points. You know who they passed on? Nikita Kucherov. How does that grab you? That
not
doesn't
great.
get mentioned. Yeah, that does not get mentioned nearly enough. All right. Welcome back. I've promised this for a little bit now, and I need to get to it, and I'm going to. First thing I want to tell you, though, is that DraftKings Sports is live in all 50 states, including Michigan. So you got 2 teams left. You've got 1 trophy. You want to be glued in on every fourth quarter shot, every clutch shot, every possession, every turnover. DraftKings Sports app now live in the state of Michigan. Every minute of every game in the palm of your hand on one app. And it's DraftKings Sports. New DraftKings customers sign up with code HUGE, spend $5, get $200 in rewards guaranteed. That code is HUGE, HUGE, in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours if you remember someone you know has a gambling problem. Have them call 1-800-GAMBLER, 21 years or older, Michigan only. Eligibility restrictions do apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. And for more terms and responsible gaming resources, see DKNG.com. This is a limited time offer. Reading CBS Sports the other day, they were looking at the breakout player for the Lions. They were looking at the breakout player for every team. But, of course, all we really care about is the Lions. The Bears, for example, Luther Burden, they had him. Who do you think they had for the Lions? Who would you say is your breakout player? Who needs to be the guy who's going to elevate his game this year?
So it has to be somebody that's already on the team.
Yes.
Lee McNeil.
That's who they chose. You've been pretty consistent with that. So that's the reason I wanted to bring it up, because I'm giving you some flowers here. They write, Lee McNeil looked to be one of several Lions mid-round success stories 2023. PFF grade was 6 among defensive linemen, number 5 against the run. He was having a solid 24 before suffering a torn ACL. That kept him out until October. He flashed some signs here and there, but wasn't fully back. If he can get back to 2023, 2024 pre-injury self, it would be a massive boost for Detroit. That's part of what they said. I get that. If you had your choice on who would be the best version of themselves this year for the Lions, who would it be? For me, it's Terrion Arnold. I hope we haven't seen the best version of himself yet.
Yeah, you got to hope.
But this team, I'm not saying they can get away with a lackluster performance from Lee McNeil. Lee McNeil, we've seen him perform before.
I would say maybe
I think he's a really good player, and he's going to help Tyleik Williams inside. They get some support from the outside. I think the defensive line, it's not stellar, but I think it's much better. You are looking for a number 1 corner. Who's the last number 1 corner this franchise had? Darius Slay, right?
Yeah.
Good job, Matt Patricia. Way to run him out of town.
Right.
Darius Slay was he was a number 1 cornerback, and when he went to Philadelphia, was still a number 1 cornerback. It's been that long. You haven't had one. Don't give me Carlton Davis, okay? It's not DJ Reed from last year. Sorry. Terrion Arnold was drafted in the first round hoping that he would be a number 1 cornerback. If I could pick the breakout player this year, it would be Terrion Arnold to finally fulfill that missing void that the Lions have had for a long time. If you think about it, there are 2 areas where we as Detroit Lions fans have complained about for a long time. You need a secondary pass rusher, and you need a lockdown corner. We feel like we got the safety set. Our linebackers have always been pretty damn good, okay? Since Aiden Hutchinson with the pass rush, even before him, guys way back in the day. Ziggy Ansah, for example. You've had some decent pass rushers in the history of the franchise. I don't want to go back to Robert Porcher and, Bubba Baker and things like that. But for the most part, Detroit, they can hold their own in that regard. And defensive tackles, yeah, I mean, Lee McNeil has proven he's a good player. The cornerbacks, I mean, you got to go way back in the day. All the way back to Lem Barney, for crying out loud, before you got to Darius Slay. That's what you need, okay? Because it sure as hell wasn't Terry Fair. And it hasn't been Terrion Arnold yet. That's who I think needs to be the breakout player for the Lions this year. What were you going to say, Andy? Sorry about that.
Well, breakout players. So you were saying it was best version of themselves, right? Like we need the best version of themselves. That way that it helps the Lions the most. Is that like what the?
Yeah. Haven't seen the best version of Terrion Arnold.
Maybe,
yet, have you?
maybe
if you have, we're in trouble.
Oh, no, for sure. I agree with you 100%. I would say maybe if there's anybody else, it could be like Tate Ratledge. Maybe you'd hope you get the best version of him to really help bolster that offensive line. But that's just
I think he's been, I thought he was pretty good.
I thought he was pretty good too. I think maybe this year you want to see him take like a step forward to maybe becoming like a key part of that line going forward. But.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw this video. I think Dave Burkett at the Free Press put it out. Our friend Lomas Brown, who joins the Huge Show during football season in the afternoons, Lomas Brown said he's concerned that, Blake Miller, you got a rookie right tackle, you got a second-year right guard, and you got a new center. He's more concerned about the offensive line than I think a lot of other people are. He's more concerned than I am. Okay. I believe that Tate Ratledge is a good player. I have seen Cade Mays be a really good player. If you wanted to be a glass half full, I'm not saying this is who Lomas is, but if you want to be a glass half full guy or a glass half empty, the glass half empty guy says this, Sewell's moving from one tackle to the other. We think he's phenomenal, but you couldn't blame him if it took a game or two to get used to it because everything is different. Even how you hear the play is different now. You've got an unproven commodity at left guard because you don't know who it is yet. You got a brand new center whose team didn't want to re-sign him for what you would call a minimal cost. You got a right guard who's only in his second year, and you got a right tackle who's brand new. Why you feel so comfortable about the offensive line? That's if you're a glass half empty kind of person. I guess I look at it like Sewell's going to do it because he's done it before. The center's proven. I like him. I think he can get to that second level. I think he plays with a really good base. I thought Ratledge was good last year. I don't see him digressing. And Blake Miller is widely considered one of the better tackles in college football. I mean, if we're going to get concerned about every single rookie and we constantly say, I want this out of my draft pick, how much better does it get than picking a guy who had 54 starts at a pretty well-respected program and only missed one practice his entire career? Interesting point yesterday from somebody. I'm sure people heard Cody Campbell, the coach of Texas Tech, who was trying to defend his school and his player, his quarterback, Brennan Sorsby. I wouldn't have gone about it this way. I thought it was pretty stupid, but he did say this, because there are teams threatening to boycott Texas Tech. There was a writer and a contributor to BTN who said, Texas Tech doesn't have to play the guy. Keep him on your team, but don't play him. Like, they want to take his career away from him. Okay. It's despicable what he did. Okay. Betting $90,000 and what was it? 9,000 bets, I think is what it was, Andy. I said, yeah, it is a lot. My response, you would think so. My response to that was, look, that's fine. Okay. I wouldn't want him on my team. The punishment is a joke. But how come you don't have this take when 30 Georgia players were ticketed or arrested for speeding, DUI, or reckless driving?
Right. I mean, there's been other things out there.
Why do we get all this holier than thou? And then we'll work for a network or we'll work for a publication. We'll have a podcast. And who's it supported by? It's supported by gambling sites. Check ourselves a little bit. You can have that take, but you should have it and be consistent. One guy's betting, the other one is breaking the laws, threatening people's lives. And in one case for Georgia, 2 people died. Quick timeout. We're brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort on a Tullymore Thursday. Back after this on X's and Bros.
Hey, West Michigan, Mitch Lyons here. You've heard about our support of Tiger legend Kirk Gibson's fight against Parkinson's disease. Now we have a local opportunity to support West Michigan families affected by Parkinson's too. The first annual Drive Out Parkinson's Golf event presented by the Grady's Parkinson's Promise will be held Monday, June 29th at Watermark Country Club. And while the golf is at full capacity, you still have a chance to help support the cause. Mitch Lyons Wealth is the title sponsor, and we'd love to have others join us. If your business would like to support and be represented at the outing, or if you would like to contribute personally, it's easy to do by joining our team today. Just go to birdease.com, that's BIRDEASE.com/driveoutparkinsons to sign up for sponsorship packages or donate today. X's and BrO's and the Huge Show will both do their shows live from the course, and Shep and Huge are playing in the event. Join us in supporting this great cause. A portion of the proceeds will go to Gibby Center, and the rest will support local families. Go to birdease.com/driveoutparkinsons or contact me at mitchlyonswealth.com for more info.
Our state is Mecca for golf, and one of Michigan's crown jewels is Tullymore and St. Ives, two world-class championship courses in one charming and beautiful location. The golf is challenging but fair. You're going to use every club in your bag. But let me tell you what makes Tullymore really special. It's the people. From the wait staff to the bartenders to the pro shop and the management, their sole purpose is to give you a memorable experience, and they do. Go to TullymoreGolf.com today and experience a Michigan masterpiece.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
Reminder that DraftKings Sports is live in all 50 states, and that means here in Michigan, 2 teams left, 1 trophy, every possession, every fourth quarter swing, every clutch shot, everything you could imagine you love most about sports. You can find it in one app, DraftKings Sports, and it's available right now. The finals are in the palm of your hand. New DraftKings customers can sign up today with the code HUGE, H-U-G-E. $5 gets you $200 in rewards guaranteed. The crown is yours. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, have them call 1-800-GAMBLER, 21 years or older, Michigan only. Eligibility restrictions do apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.com/audio. This is a limited time offer. This is X's and BrO's. Interesting exercise regarding NFL quarterbacks. NFL.com, excuse me. And NFL.com, thanks, Andy. NFL.com ranked the divisions by quarterbacks. They totaled up all the quarterbacks and then ranked the division. Of course, the NFC North with Goff and Williams and Love. And you'd have to say Kyler Murray, right? Or would you say J.J. McCarthy so far?
I would say Kyler Murray.
Because J.J. McCarthy picked up Aaron Jones at the airport doesn't mean that he's going to be the starting quarterback there. What would you say? I would say Kyler Murray. I think there's a reason.
Yeah, it's Kyler Murray. Yeah.
Okay, it is Kyler Murray. Even though, it's not like they've said this yet. Kevin O'Connell hasn't said that. But I think it stands to reason. One guy struggled last year, couldn't stay healthy, wink, wink, and didn't perform very well. Even against the Lions, he didn't throw for a ton of yards, but he did throw for 2 touchdowns. I would say Kyler Murray. Where do you think that ranks? So you got the NFC South. Is it Tua Tagovailoa or is it Michael Penix in Atlanta? It's Bryce Young. It's Tyler Shuck. It's Baker Mayfield. They have the NFC South last. Out of the 8 divisions, they have them 8. Where do you think they have the NFC North?
In total,
those divisions.
Quarterbacks, like ranking them?
Yeah, the combined quarterbacks. Yeah.
I would say
1 through 8.
I'm
not
gonna,
8.
I'm going to guess they give him 3rd.
Okay. So you're a pretty smart dude. They've got him 4th. Here's who's ahead of them. Number 1 is the NFC West. Matthew Stafford, Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, Jacoby Brissett. It's tough to argue that. Purdy's been in a Super Bowl. Stafford's won a Super Bowl. Darnold just won a Super Bowl. And Stafford's been an MVP.
Right.
Okay? Jacoby Brissett probably thinks he's better than he really is. That's why he's holding out. Number 2, the AFC West. Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins or Fernando Mendoza, Justin Herbert, Bo Nix. It's interesting that people were ripping on Bo Nix and how he wasn't necessarily the difference maker everybody thought he should have been or was being labeled as. Kirk Cousins has been run out of a couple of places. I shouldn't say run out, but Kirk Cousins was replaced in Atlanta. Let's put it that way, by Michael Penix, who's now battling Tua Tagovailoa, who was let go by Miami because he wasn't very good. So that's an interesting take right there. And Justin Herbert is constantly criticized because he's never won a playoff game. There's 2 really good quarterbacks in that division. One great quarterback, Mahomes. Really good is Justin Herbert. I'd love to have Kirk Cousins as my backup. Bo Nix, maybe in the future, but has he arrived yet? That's a good question. They've got number 3 is the NFC East. Dak Prescott, Jackson Dart, Jalen Hurts, and Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels had 1 good year, and that's it. Jackson Dart, we don't even know about yet. Jalen Hurts is constantly criticized because he doesn't go downfield enough. But he's got 2 Super Bowl appearances in a Super Bowl. And Dak Prescott, everybody loves as a regular season quarterback, and that's it. And then they've got, then as you mentioned, it's the NFC North. Caleb Williams, Jared Goff, Jordan Love, Kyler Murray, J.J. McCarthy. Here's what they write. Look, I know it was only 1 great season, but I love watching Caleb Williams play football. It wasn't a great season. How do you label? This is...
Oh, it bugs me so much, man.
Oh, dude. If somebody said to me, there's one word that drives you more crazy than any other, you know what it would be? The word great. It would be the word great. He made some incredible plays I would say he made some great plays.
And his team did win a lot of games at the end of the day, too, which I think matters.
Yeah.
But
well, they won 11 games. Yeah. They also, whatever. You can't have a great year by completing 58% of your passes. Okay? I'm not buying that. It wasn't a great year.
Yeah.
It was a good year for him. It's not like he was the MVP. He wasn't in the running or anything like that. It's way overboard. Anyway, the Cardiac Bears became a heart-stopping spectacle because of Williams' cold-blooded heroics. That's a way to buy into the narrative. Yet what matters most is how well Williams meshed with Ben Johnson, was able to use Williams' natural talents to the Bears' advantage in year 2. With this partnership in place, I expect more progress from Williams, who will quickly be climbing the star power ladder. We've long known Jared Goff is at his best when he's well protected. There's not many quarterbacks who aren't, but whatever. And the Lions struggle with that in 2025. Still, Goff produced excellent numbers, even amid Detroit's O-line decline, to credit to the former number 1 overall pick's persistence and mental toughness. I have a pretty good idea of who Goff is at this stage of his career. Thank you. It's been 11 years. And QB who will flirt with a top 10 ranking provided disaster doesn't strike. Flirt with it? He's definitely in the top 10. We talked about this yesterday. I mean, what are we doing here? This is a national publication of somebody who supposedly follows the sport. You think you know who he is? He's played 10 years in the National Football League. He's thrown for 4,500 yards or more in each of the last 3 seasons, and the season prior to that with Detroit, 4,400 yards. On average, this dude throws for 4,500 yards in his career. He'll throw 29 touchdowns. He'll throw 11 picks, and he'll complete, on average for his career, 66% of his passes. You're calling one dude great? Caleb Williams, who completed 57% of his passes. Wow. Then they talk about Jordan Love. We don't need to get into that, and Minnesota. Number 5, by the way, they have the AFC North with Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers. You got a 2-time MVP. You got a 2-time comeback player of the year and a guy who led his team to a Super Bowl. You got another Hall of Famer. I know he's long in the tooth. And then you got Cleveland in an absolute disaster. That's pretty low. Number 6, they got the AFC East. Geno Smith, Drake May, Malik Willis, Josh Allen. AFC South is 7, CJ Stroud, Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Cam Ward. Okay? There you go. Found that very interesting. This is a crazy take. Now, I subscribe to The Athletic. I don't know how many else do. I don't know if Andy does or not.
I do.
They've got a football writer and a guy who does a podcast by the name of Robert Mays. And what they were talking about yesterday is offensive supporting cast. Exclude the quarterback. Forget the quarterback. It's just offensive supporting cast and ranking them in the National Football Conference. Here's what Robert Mays had to say about the Lions. Go ahead and play it.
I had them in this tier of teams.
I had the Lions top 3.
3?
Yes. I think we are significantly overcorrecting on how bad
this is
last
partner,
year was.
By the way.
Think about all of the negative air we spent talking about the Lions. They were still a top 10 offense by any metric. I think this team is still really good, and we're just
You had the Lions at 3.
Yes.
I think
they are a really good team. They are still a really good team.
I can't get on board with that. And again, I think part of this is the fact that I have them clumped in this group of teams where you're swapping out the play caller. I think that is a part of it to me.
But the play calling wasn't good last year.
But how good is it going to be this year?
So that was Robert Mays. How good is it going to be this year? Here's the answer to that. You don't know.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was thinking the whole time I was listening to his. He was so shocked that he had him in the top 3. That's why I chose for that first part too.
So a lot of this, he's got the Packers ahead of them. How good are they going to be? Do you have any idea? Oh, it's Matt LaFleur. I get it. Kevin O'Connell, Ben Johnson. All these guys are proven to have been excellent play callers. If we were just talking about offensive coordinators, I might agree with him. I thought the discussion was supposed to be about the offensive supporting cast, excluding the quarterback. And I'm trying to figure out why you would put them 9th best unit in the NFC, last in the NFC North, behind the Seahawks and behind the Eagles, when you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is a top 5 wide receiver. Jamison Williams, who's a top, would you call him a top 15, top 20 wide receiver? You have Sam Laporta, when healthy, a top 8 tight end. And you have Jahmyr Gibbs, who's no worse than the second best running back in football. You also have the best tackle in football. That's a pretty good supporting cast. I'm confused at that. Perhaps this has, reflected a little bit on Dan Campbell. Now, he doesn't say that, but perhaps it is. He said this quote, "We've seen those groups, the other groups that he's talking about, including the Packers, be successful. And with some of them, we've seen them be very successful over a multi-year period. That was the reason I had those teams in a certain tier and the Lions just below it." As his cohort mentioned, did you recognize where the Lions were a year ago? Do we look at anything other than one person being new to a system? Are you recognizing what is most important for you when a team offense? Is it total yards? No. Is it passing? No. Is it running? No. It's a combination, right? It's about scoring. You got to score to win for an offense, right? Your scoring offense has got to be good. Detroit last year was 5th in the league in scoring. Okay? In 2024, they were number 1 in scoring. Is that enough for you to realize that this team is legit? Oh, in 2023, they were 5th in the league in scoring. What is it you're missing that seems to be a little bit of a pattern here? Am I wrong? You're top 5 in each of the last 3 years in the most important statistic you can possibly have. Now, if you think it's passing, okay. In 2023, they were 2nd to the Miami flippin' Dolphins in that category. In 2024, they were 2nd in that category to the Cincinnati Bengals. And last year, they were 3rd in that category to the Los Angeles Rams and the Dallas Cowboys. I think that's pretty consistent. I'm not going to sit here and try and defend that the Lions are the best team in football and they should be a favorite and they should be number 1 in everybody's poll and this, that, and the other thing. The audacity of his reaction that you've got them 3, how is that so bombastic where you can't follow the National Football League in 2 of the most, it is a passing league, correct? I mean, would you say that, Andy? Do you think the NFL is now a passing league? Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So is it fair to say there's more of an emphasis on passing than running?
Yeah, no doubt.
Trying
in
to
my
use
mind.
logic. We can't use logic in anything else.
Sure, they might have went back to the running back a little bit more, I think people were saying, but you see more passing than running, I would say.
Okay. So in other words, this is a team that in 2 categories for an offense. In a passing league, you got to be good at passing. And in a league in general, you got to be good at scoring. They're top 5 in each of the last 3 years in both those categories that are they're pretty damn important. We can nitpick and break down more like we do in baseball, OPS plus, right? XWOBA, all that other stuff. We can do that in football too. But 2 pretty important pieces to a successful offense is scoring and throwing the football these days. And Detroit's top 5 in each of the last 3 years. I don't get where this dude comes from when he says they're number 9 and last in the division. You're trying to tell me that Kyler Murray makes that big of a difference in Minnesota because Kevin O'Connell is such a good play caller? What about them being 9-8 last year? Well, they had J.J. McCarthy and they had Max. Okay. And Detroit had some weak offensive linemen. I don't get it. You're going to put Chicago in there. They got a quarterback who completes 57%. That Ben Johnson makes up that much of a difference? To me, it's convoluted thinking. Some people may think that I'm a little protective of the Lions. I just really like their offense. Let me get to the final results of the poll question and the daily wager here on this Tully-Moore Thursday with us here on X's and Bros. And the show flew by. The Mitchell Lions Wealth poll question today. Who do you blame more for the Red Wings drama? Is it Dylan Larkin or is it Steve Eisman? You can vote as often as you want at XB Mornings. I've retweeted it at ShepMatt, and we'll give the results tomorrow in the 8 o'clock hour. Yesterday, we asked you this. Who's been the Tigers' best hitter so far? Has it been Dylan Dingler, Kevin McGonigal, or Riley Green? Now, we asked this fresh off a massive game by Dingler in which he had 4 hits, 2 home runs, a double, and 4 RBIs. And now we're going to answer it with Dingler last night going 1 for 5 with 3 punch-outs. McGonigal getting on base 3 times because he walked 3 times, scored twice, and Riley Green striking out 3 out of 4 at-bats, including in the 9th inning, the final out with runners at first and second.
Pitch he probably could have handled too, I think. But
which what?
A pitch he probably could have handled. It was like right there. It wasn't actually like it was up in the strike zone, but I think he could have hit it. I was surprised that he struck out on that one, but he was late.
He was late. I mean, it's 96. So, I mean,
yeah,
to
sure,
me,
sure.
it's easy for me to go, well, you
yeah,
gotta hit that. It's right down the middle. It's 96 miles an hour. I mean, check that out. But look, that's what he gets paid to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And he should be doing it. So what were the final results of the poll question? The best hitter on the Tigers right now?
You got 44% for Kevin McGonigal, and that led the way, which doesn't really surprise me. I felt like Kevin McGonigal was going to win it just based off how the seasons went and how much people are talking about him. Riley Green and Dylan Dingler were both tied at 28% with the vote. So they were right behind him. So it was relatively, all the way through. I did throw other in there because I wanted to see if someone would give me a take that would basically humor us in the comments if they had somebody else. Because there's definitely
Can't think of anybody else.
There's nobody else.
I guess it could have been early.
You got 0% of the vote.
Early this season, it could have been Cole Keith. Have you seen where his batting average is dropped?
Yeah, it's not good.
It's a 257.
He's fallen away.
Yeah, 257. And at one point, it was over 300. It's hard not to get too wrapped up in baseball numbers as the season goes, but in a specific month or so. All right, let's get to the daily wager. It's brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort and their sportsbook Ascend. What was the daily wager last night on the Knicks and Spurs, and what do you have for us tonight?
Well, I went with basketball again. I went Jalen Brunson to get 30 points. They were giving you plus money for that. It was like plus, I think, around 120. Can't remember exactly what it was yesterday, but he ended up hitting that with 36 points.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the reason I went with this, I just thought if they were going to win that game last night, or no matter what, it was going to be close towards the end because it was in New York. I felt like he could, at the end, was going to put up a lot of points in that fourth quarter, which he did. So that one hits. Tonight, I'm going with the NHL again. Not going with the player this time, though. Going with the over-under at 6.5. I'm going to go over that. They're giving you plus money for that for plus 114. Every game this series has hit over that. So
every game, including the last one, but every game has been a 1-goal game except for the last one that was an empty net goal that made it 5-3. That's a good bet. I would think I would do that as well. Pretty cool stuff. Well done, man. I mean, you're on a major roll. You've got this down.
Yeah,
it's
daily been fun.
Wager brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Our thanks to you for giving us some time here on a Tullymore Thursday. Always appreciate the phone calls, the texts, any comments in the chat as well. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock here on the Michigan Sports Network. Don't forget the huge show later on today from 3 until 7. Have a great Thursday, everyone.
Huge here for the Carmody brothers and all the Buffalo Wild Wings locations in Michigan. They have some